Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. We're super excited to have you here. We're going to give everybody a couple minutes to trickle in, and we'll kick things off here in the next couple of minutes. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Becca, want me to do dad jokes while we're waiting?
Always.
Hit us with the
Always,
jokes, Chris.
always. Let me see what I got here. What do you call a cow that doesn't produce milk?
I
What's
don't
that?
know.
Milk dud.
Oh,
There you go. There
for
you
the
go.
farmer in your life.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Well, that is the perfect segue, Chris, to
I know
kick
that's
off our
exactly. It
webinar.
goes right in,
Yeah,
Exactly.
perfect. Well, we are seeing people trickle in, so we'll just go ahead and kick things off, guys. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today, and welcome everybody to today's session, which is focused on from leads to loyalty, winning in a digital-first home improvement market. So, for everybody that joined us today, we're going to be talking about how contractors can win in 2026 by focusing on a couple of key things, specifically better leads, building stronger systems, and generating long-term customer value, not just volume. So, with all of that to say, I would love to introduce our group today. Heather, why don't you kick us off?
Sure thing. So, hi, everybody. Good morning from Austin, Texas. I'm Heather Mason from Modernize, and I'm the Senior Manager of Channel Partnerships. I've been with the business about 5 years. And a bit about Modernize. Modernize is a marketing products platform built to support home improvement and home services companies across the entire homeowner journey, from the very first consumer inquiry all the way through the project install. So we can be your lead gen partner. We can put your brand on offense, and or we can also help your homeowner clients access financing to accelerate your revenue. And today I'm here primarily, though, to talk about lead gen.
Excellent. Chris, let's kick it over to you.
All right. Thank you. Just so honored to be here with you two. You guys are just awesome, and this is really exciting. But my name is Chris Rice. I'm the Director of Partnerships at Builder Prime. Builder Prime is your all-in-one CRM solution for home improvement pros. I've spent about 25 years really fostering C-level relationships and helping home improvement businesses scale without losing their soul. That's the key. Um, my love of glasses has many people refer to me as Clark Kent, which I quickly translated into Superman. So I figured you can't have Clark without Superman. And but today, my only superpower today is making sure we get through this thing without a glitch. That's my promise to you. But I'm an old dog who's been in the CRM game for a while. Fortunately, over the last few years, I've really focused on learning as much as I can, and really just throwing myself into AI and seeing how that can help businesses and how businesses can successfully implement AI into their business. And that's something that we at Builder Prime are really committed to. We have some great new tools that are going to be coming out in the next few months. So I'm really excited. We'll be start sharing those with you. Probably around Aprilish, we'll be ready to completely come to market with our AI advanced reporting, which is going to be super, super exciting. Also, an avid pickleball player and a purveyor of dad jokes. I was previously addicted to the hokey pokey, but
But you turned yourself around.
fortunately, I turned myself around. So, with that, Becca, take it away.
Another great segue. Hi, everybody. I'm Rebecca Mayo. I'm the Director of Partnerships here at gFour Marketing. So thanks for coming today. We're super excited to have this conversation with everybody here. Essentially, gFour, at a very high level, we are the done-for-you relationship marketing program partner. So think of all things referrals, reactivating past customers, and how we can help you maximize the value there. So you are in
And the
great
best
hands.
cookies in the game.
Ooh.
And
I
we do have good
love
cookies.
love my gFour cookies. I get excited every show I go to. I've got a jar on my counter right now. They are just they're my go-to.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, with all of that to say, let's kick things off with a poll, shall we? So we want to hear from you specifically. We want to know in real time, we're halfway through Q1, which is insane to me, but we want to know what's your biggest growth focus as it stands in this moment today. So we want to hear. Everybody put your poll answer in. We want to see what we're working with today.
Be interested to see the result.
I know.
Don't maybe tell another dad joke.
All right. I think we're good. Shall
All
we
right.
kick things off into our session?
All right, let's go. Well, I'm going to start this off. I got a question for you, Heather.
You got it.
So, Heather, how has homeowner behavior changed? I mean, what is Modernize hearing about how homeowners are thinking about, finding a contractor now when they have something that they want done? What's going on there?
It's a big topic. I'd say, when we look back when I started with Modernize, right around the time of COVID, it was an instrumental point where, you know, we went from being a lot of us a little bit resistant to having businesses contact us via text
Mhm.
to no, I actually really do want you to contact me through text because of everything that was going on back then. And so we've seen a much, much wider adoption of text in the last few years, particularly as time goes along. Homeowners really value being communicated with clearly and efficiently through those means. So that's a big thing that I see. And in fact, when we talk about lead treatment strategies and how to really get yourself in front of a homeowner who has reached out to you, a big thing that we used to tell folks is you want to call first and then you want to follow up with a great text, follow up with an email as well, and then, have a really good cadence after that. And what we're actually seeing now, because of some technology changes, that when you are calling somebody first, if you haven't texted them before that, they probably are not going to get an indication of who you are. But now, if you text them first, you actually will get a little indicator from Apple in particular saying, maybe Chris Rice from Builder Prime. So that's one of the things that we see in how homeowners like to interact with contractors. And to the latter part of your question, Modernize actually surveys a lot of homeowners about their projects. 150,000 people per year we survey just to check in and see how they're thinking about things. And so I wanted to call out a few statistics that I thought were pretty interesting. One, that planning is becoming really intentional around projects. So, and admittedly, I fall into this category. I do a lot of research online when I'm thinking about getting something fixed. And this isn't necessarily for your emergency services. If I've got, a busted window or, it's Texas in July and my AC goes out, but more so like if I'm thinking about, which I am, getting my back doors replaced or a variety of other things. I'm really sort of diving in to figure out what are the best products, what are the things I need to think about, what are the costs that I need to plan for budget wise. And so we actually found that when homeowners are getting online, they're spending about 51% are spending 1 to 5 hours researching their projects. And it's really fascinating to see them dig into all the different things and tools that are appearing on websites. So another thing that changed is that Google started using AI tools that maybe
Mhm.
you've noticed this now that pop up at the top of your search, and AI will give you a little summary of things that it's scraped from the web. That is an opportunity for you as a marketer to try to get your brand in front of that type of research, but also it's just something that you have to recognize that those are areas that homeowners are going to look up information, and you should be looking at that information too to get under the same frame of mind for what homeowners are thinking.
Mhm.
Final thing I'd say about that is that, some of the old things are definitely true. People are still looking for a referral. They're still trying to find out, who are the people that I know that I trust who can get me a referral to a good contractor. And, when that pans out, it's great, but they typically are looking for a couple bids, especially for larger projects. So that's where, they come to somebody like Modernize, and they're coming to us to get more information and get connected with a good contractor. And so typically people are still looking for a couple of good bids that they can compare and sort of dovetail with the research that they've done. So that's a little bit of the stuff that I would call out on that one. It's a good question.
Yeah, Heather, that you make some incredible points there. One thing that I hear a lot of, and I'm interested to hear your perspective on, is what are you seeing happen with contractors that don't have systems and processes in place, or they haven't yet implemented a system into their lead funnel?
Yeah, it's really pretty devastating when that happens, because of course the obvious answer to that is they waste money on marketing, and nobody likes that, particularly when you are putting your best efforts out there to get your brand in front of homeowners who really could use your service. And so more color on that, I would say if you are trying to work with a lead provider, just thinking selfishly, and you don't have a system like that, what you have to understand is that you typically, and in really any digital zone, you're competing with companies who do have systems in place. And so those companies tend to be the ones who get to those homeowners first. So, sort of to my last point, if you're a homeowner and you've already got one bid from maybe a referral that you got, or maybe another contractor, and you're trying to get a second bid, it's really important that you are getting to that homeowner quickly when you receive their inquiry, because if you don't, somebody else will. And at that point, the homeowner is going, hey, I don't want five people to come over to my house. I
Hmm.
just kind of want two or three that I can have
Right.
some good comparisons to. And so you're going to get beat out by the competition. And that's the biggest heartbreak, I think, that I see when somebody doesn't have a system in place.
Yeah, and on that, how does an owner? So if I'm a business owner, I own my home improvement company. How do I really level set with my employees about how to work with lead providers? Like, what should they know? How do I really, I guess, get them, light a fire under them to make sure that we are getting that speed to lead? I mean, what is the best practice around that?
Yeah, so internally, I think making sure that your team has the systems that they need, so that they have
Mhm.
SMS systems, that they can reach out quickly, that they have the ability to call quickly, that they have backup people, that they've got the ability to have a phone flow over for inbound calls, and then they have dedicated people to make outbound calls, and having not only that, but really good training available for them. So scripts,
Yeah.
work with your team to put together some scripts. Work with your lead provider. A lot of us have had the luxury of working with incredible companies across the United States, and we know what scripts are working for them. And so happy to share some of those ideas. But make sure that your team is trained, that they have a good process for that training, that they're being tested on it. I was talking to a call center manager recently who said she has her team compete with each other. They're
Mm.
competing to see who can get the most appointments
They're
on the
gamifying
board.
it, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
making it fun, but also seeing, like, can they compete with themselves? Can they better
Yeah.
their previous month's numbers? Things of that nature. And really making that the focus, because what we don't want to do is see that the owner has this idea of, we're going to work with these leads, we're going to drive this outcome, and then the agents who are making the calls, or the sales folks who are running the appointments, have a different perception that, oh, this category of lead, I don't like those
Yeah.
leads, that sort of thing. It really comes from above. That leadership is meaningful.
Yeah, and that's a good, and one thing I really like that you touched on, I think this is something that goes for all of us, is many times people see the relationship with a vendor, whether it be their CRM, their lead provider, their marketing partners, as being transactional, and they're
Sure.
really not. I mean, we are
Nope.
there to help people. I mean, like you said, we have a lot of experience. We work with a lot of different people. We see what's successful and sometimes what's not, and we're always willing to share that, because if our customers aren't successful, we're not successful.
Yep.
And I think that's an important thing that you hit on. And you and I have talked about, one thing is we talk about like feedback loops, and
Hmm.
how do you continue to make the experience that you said, provide better leads to companies. And that's really where you and I kind of work together, because the CRM can provide the reporting back to you so you can see what's working, what's not, and maybe kind of lock that in. How do you use that data that you get back to, I guess, really continue to tailor the marketing, the leads that you're able to provide to a customer?
Yeah, that's precisely what we do. So, if I could tell you a secret, if I
All
look at
ears.
if I look at the companies who spend the most money with Modernize, they're our biggest customers. They share every piece of data they can with us to help us be a better partner for them. And so when I'm getting into the nitty-gritty of that, it means if you've got a CRM in place that you can architect a report that you can share as real time as possible, doesn't have to be, but if you can share disposition data lead by lead, what's going on with those leads? Did they turn into an appointment? Yes or no? Did they turn
Mm-hmm.
into a sale? Yes or no? What was the net of the sale, the gross of the sale, so that we can track the health of the campaign? And did you hear anything weird? We need to hear that too. Did somebody say, I want to remodel my bathroom on the planet Mars? I need to hear that stuff because we will look for trends and we will integrate that into our wider strategy with the ways that we're generating those leads because most brands think, oh, it's just all vanilla, but it's not. Certain brands will connect with certain ways that we generate leads that other brands won't. And so our job is to really work together to get that feedback, integrate it into our strategy so that we can drive a lot more consistency. And consistency is, of course, what we need to drive scale. So that's how we think about it.
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah, Heather, you make such a good point because I think everybody on this call today can attest to, once we're getting the right leads in place, oftentimes we as in owners struggle with converting those leads. So,
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I'm curious to hear from you specifically. Where do you see the breakdown between the lead coming through and then the job being booked?
I mean, it's process, process, process. I mean, like Heather said, I mean, that's really what it comes down to, and speed to lead. And I was thinking about this, and actually, I think somebody mentioned this even at when I was at a conference this week. When you watching the Olympics, like I've been watching the Olympics like crazy this week. I love it. It's so much fun. I mean, you see this, but between first and eighth place can be a quarter of a second. I mean, it's remarkable how close it is, and what makes that difference could be anything. And a lot of it is going to be technique. It could be strength. It could be a variety of different things. But the people who are best, they're doing the same. They're following it's their process. Whether you're a downhill skier or a speed skater, how you approach that lap or that complete that event is about process and having a repeatable way of doing it, and then trying to tweak little things to get better. And you need to have that in your business. You need to look for that advantage, because while there may be gold, silver, and bronze, there's only gold when it comes down to closing a deal. Only one person's going to get the deal at the end of the day. So that's what you have to be in. You want to be that one. So how do you do that? So it is making sure that the process is in place so you know exactly when that lead comes in, whether generated through Modernize or any other source, or you know exactly what's happening with it, and then you can see what happened with it. We can look back and see exactly what happened with it, whether you closed the deal or not. You can usually find out why maybe you didn't, in that where the breakdown in process was.
And I had a question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
What does a healthy CRM sales process actually look like?
So it starts with that speed, and you touched on it too. Having automations built in. Don't rely on the human. I mean,
Mm,
yeah, I mean, we all get caught up. Like, even if you're in a call center and you could be on a call, depending on your callers, that lead could come in and sit. You can't afford that. You need to have automation set up so, like you said, Heather, that text goes out immediately. As soon as that lead hits the CRM, a message should go out, whether it be text, email. I think text is probably the most effective. I agree with you on that, because you're establishing that communication. Then when the call comes to follow up with that, you're going to see, oh yeah, you said it's Chris calling. But people may not take my call. They hopefully will take another company's call. Um, They're afraid I'm going to barrage them with dad jokes. Um,
Well,
but but that is the number one, is having those automations. So use automations, for after hours and for, things like weekends, when leads can come and they can sit, having
mm,
tools in place, like you said, looking at the tools like a heavy set or something that you can put on your website. Where the lead comes in, they're getting some kind of communication that's going out, taking advantage of AI. I mean, there are some AI tools that are super effective right now. I mean, we see the rates that, text can be booking appointments. It's remarkable. And even phone is getting better and better. Some people don't want to take that risk, but with text, it's a lower risk. And especially those after hours and weekend calls, I mean, you're probably not going to get, if you wait until Monday to call them back, somebody else already got it.
yeah,
So making sure that process is in place and those automations are set up. So have the automations built. That's the first thing you should do.
love it. Um, Attribution is something that's near and dear to my heart.
Of course.
So can you talk about how important attribution is generally and also visibility when
Yeah.
understanding what's working?
Well, I mean, it's always been important. No question about it. I mean, you want to know what lead sources are working, which ones are providing you the greatest, NSLI. I mean, these are important metrics that you look at. And people, you can judge them by looking at different time frames. It's going to get even more critical because it's going to get better. AI is changing the game on this. I was playing around with, I teased earlier, we have new AI reporting coming out where you can interact with your CRM data in plain English.
Yep,
So you can just type in, hey, what lead source is the most effective over the past 3 weeks? And then have it spit back to you information, because what AI does really well, and I hate, and I get this, and you guys probably get it all the time too. You're at a trade show, you're at an event, somebody goes, what do you got for AI? They have no idea what problem they're trying to solve. They have FOMO. They're
hmm,
afraid, I need to have AI in my business. Do you? Maybe. And the first question I was asked, what problem are you trying to solve? What is the challenge? And the opportunity of AI, I think number one is going to be in reporting. There are some other things that I mentioned, like that speed to lead and being able to after hours, especially at weekends. There's some great ways that you can utilize AI in that space without taxing your people, or even overflow. Big storm comes through. You need to reach out to you get a lot of people barraging you. AI can be a huge asset in that, again, in speed to lead.
yep,
But with AI is really good at consuming large amounts of data, synthesizing it, and giving you feedback.
yep,
That's where the opportunity is going to come, and having those attributions and then the data, as you said, all the way through. It's not just a touch point. No, did I close the job or not? How much? What did I sell? The more data, more information you have, which fortunately a good all-in-one CRM solution should have, you're going to get insights that are not only going to help you see what happened, but can then help you predict what can happen in the future. That's where we're going with it. That's the next step. um, we're going to be able to show you, you can set, you know let's say barrier, I don't know, like notifications. So hey, my NSOI dropped below this number, boom, notification goes out
hmm,
in real time. I mean, being able to get this information and make real time decisions based on past data and current data is going to change the game. And you've got to have the data in order to take advantage of it, and have it
yeah,
in a place that it can be accessed by AI. That is going to be critical. It is now, but it's going to become even more so. And hopefully, we're going to make it easy for people by using a process that's in place. Again, you letting the CRM dictate that process, getting that lead in, then all the way through to, we're going to talk about rehash and loyalty. Having all of that in one place and then applying AI to it is going to be a game changer.
yeah, completely agree. And I'm so stoked to see those
Yeah.
enhancements to what you guys are doing. I wanted to go back to we had talked about automation a little bit before, and you had mentioned some good points there, but further down the funnel, what would you say is one automation or workflow that reliably will improve close rates?
Um, it's a good question. So I think it's hard. I think they work in tandem. Not to cop out on that question, but I would say number one, you have to say the appointment reminder. If you don't
Mm,
get in the home, you're not going to sell anything.
yep.
You got to get in the home. So that's number one. So once you
Yep.
get that appointment scheduled, making sure reminders are in place through automation, so you're not relying on your rep to call in. People get busy, and we need to make sure that we're not missing opportunities because our people are busy. Make technology your friend, and really train, and you touched on this too, train your people to embrace technology.
Hmm.
Show them how it can help them, like AI in particular. I'm not threatened by AI. I see how AI can help me. It helps me every day. And I learn more and more about how it can streamline my day, whether it be communicating with people, posting things, or whatever it might be. There are lots of ways that you can utilize technology to make you more effective as an employee. And that's what I think owners need to train their people how to use AI to make each person more effective. And there's an opportunity there. And so, but for that particular question, I'd say, yeah, let's make sure we get in the home. That's number one. Because we don't get in the home, we have no chance.
Chris,
100%.
I have to ask if, if somebody listening to this session right now was looking to improve just improve one conversion this quarter, just pick one.
Yep.
What would you suggest they focus on?
I say number one, document your process. Look at it. What is identify what is your process and document it. Review it. And then there are so many great peer groups. And that's one thing I love about this industry is that people like we saw it. We were all at Accelerate last week. At Becca, you weren't, but your team was there. We missed you. But you see these owners and these networking groups. They help each other. They learn from each other. They share information. Document your process, and then have two or three trusted friends, other business owners, have them go through it with you and look for holes, look for places you can improve it. So start there, document the process, and make sure that then your CRM and all of your tools, had already talked about the whole tech stack. Make sure your tech stack then is hitting those points, those key places to make sure you get the lead, have speed to lead, book the appointment, close the deal in the home. And if you don't, make sure you're doing rehash. And if you do, make sure then you're following up to get reviews and referrals. Have all those pieces tied together, have that process documented, and then look for places where you can fill in any gaps that might exist.
Yeah, no, that's awesome advice for everybody listening on this session today. So now we've talked about getting better quality leads. We've talked about how to convert them. So let's move to the third step of the process, which is generating loyalty and awesome
Mhm.
referrals, obviously, for
Yeah, and it's one of the biggest missed opportunities is what happens after the job. I mean, we track everything all the way through, and then you have that job is done, it's finished. Now what? This is somebody who hopefully you've done a great work for. You've worked really hard to get that job and to fulfill it. I mean, you're dealing with, manufacturers and vendors and all these, all this stuff that has gone into it to get the job done. And hopefully you have a smiling homeowner who's ready. What do you do then? Now what? How do you then continue to get value out of that? What do you do? Becca, talk to me. What do you do?
well, here's exactly what you do. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm going to start with this because this is something that I talk to partners about all the time. That is often something people are not keeping top of mind. And it ties back perfectly to what you were just saying, Chris, but there is a gold mine sitting in your CRM.
Mm-hmm.
So, for everybody on this call today listening, and you have a CRM with 3 to 5 years plus of clients that you have done work for, and you may or may not be communicating with them on a consistent basis, now is the time to communicate. So,
Yeah. And how
there's
much
a
revenue is typically sitting there, Becca? I
Oh
mean,
my gosh. It depends on who we're talking to, but if you have an average ticket size of 25 grand, there's a lot of money sitting in your CRM. And if you are not communicating with your past customers, you're leaving money on the table. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to be a straight shooter here and tell everybody there's a lot of money hanging out
Yeah.
in your CRM.
It's
So
funny. I just not to cut, but I'll let you continue. But I talked to our all of our dear friend Tim Mush, industry
yes.
legend. You know, he's out there. I remember before. I think we did another one talking about rehash, and it's all tied to the database. I'm like, Tim, what's new? What should I talk about that's new? Like, absolutely nothing. You know, the only thing that hasn't changed is that people aren't doing it enough, and there's no excuse. The tools are there. So it's just sitting there waiting, rehash, referral, repeat business. It's just sitting there waiting for them to just leverage. And, you know, it's exactly what you're hitting on, Becca.
Yeah.
Well, what I want to know is I mean, we're in 2026, Becca. What's new though? Are there modern
Hmm.
referral and repeat business engines that you can highlight for us?
Yes, absolutely. I think a lot of it does tie back to automation. So making sure that if you're looking to implement a referral program, for example, and it's something that your team has not yet either considered doing or they haven't
Mm,
taken the steps to do it, I would highly suggest looking for a partner that can help you systemize the process and automate the process.
okay.
And there's so much time that can be saved just by asking somebody to help you do that for your
Hmm.
business. It is an investment, but the return on investment with a referral program versus spending astronomical amounts of money on net new leads of all kinds is going
Which
to,
is still okay.
yes,
Still okay to
Yes,
do.
yes.
still okay.
It's got to all
Still
be
okay.
part of it. Yes.
Yeah, it's still okay. And it's important to diversify your
Yeah.
marketing mix. Obviously, we all know that. And I'm sure every owner on this call knows that too. But if you're looking to really elevate that process, I would say consider a referral program. Um, from like what's new and noteworthy, it definitely ties back to, the digital payout opportunities that your partner can help you achieve. There's also the AI components with chatbots helping respond to reviews online that, maybe you're paying a full-time employee to do, which is great, but that will free them up to do
Hmm.
other things that,
Yeah.
focus on generating new business versus sitting and taking hours of the day responding to Google reviews.
Mm.
So there's definitely things that are going to save you time and increase your efficiency within the operations side of the business that are just going to pay off literally and figuratively for you. You being the the home pro.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
thinking about like the funnel, like just think about how the funnel works, and everybody's always talking about, lead funnel, top of funnel, and yes, you have to have those new leads coming in. That's like kind of like that highway. But then just think about it, if you're filling kind of from the bottom back to the top on the outside of that, that's powerful. That's how you really expand that top of the funnel by having that combination of your repeat, referral, and new leads coming in. Because those new leads, hopefully, you're going to close those and they're going to get back into that. You're going to keep feeding those other lanes to keep the funnel growing. And that's how business scales,
Yep.
really. And by having solid process throughout. And I'm glad you mentioned that again, Beck. I mean, you can't talk about it enough. I mean, I remember watching, was it Marcus Leonis, The Prophet? It's all about process, process, process. Most businesses that are failing, they don't have good process.
Yep.
And that's where I think, making sure that everything is tied in together makes a lot of sense. And I will mention it again that rely on your vendors, partner with them. We are here to help you. And not only can I work with you to help you with your CRM strategy and how you best implement it, but I can also work with Becca and Heather to make sure those pieces are all working together too.
Yep.
We love working together. And the more we can work together, I think the more impactful we can be on a business owner. Get your partners in your different, look at your tools and your tech stack and your weed flow, and get all your folks to work together. We're happy to do it.
And we're good at it.
And
With
gosh
all
darn
of
it,
our
we like each
combined,
other.
yeah, all of our combined expertise.
Yeah.
I, great points, Chris. And processes, it can't be overstated. But I want to kind of get back to I believe in referrals. I know referrals are a solid strategy and sometimes underutilized. And so, Becca, I wanted to ask you, um, in the customer journey, which is where we spend a lot of time, at what points do you think trust and referrals should really be built?
Yes, that's such a great question, Heather. In my opinion, after the job is closed and done is a great time to thank your customer and really take advantage of that time frame because more likely than not, the customer is going to be so happy with their new kitchen or, their new house. So it's a great time to thank them and make them feel seen and appreciated as a client. Starting from that point is a great opportunity to start asking your customers for referrals. So
Mhm.
at gFour, something that we really build into our philosophy is we want to create a customer for life. Like we want to keep that customer for life, build a fence around them so that the competitor doesn't poach them for any reason ever. And then we also want to create a flywheel of referral business for from that customer. So it's twofold, really prioritizing that client when the job is done, making sure that they feel good about the experience with you and they feel confident and comfortable recommending to the friends and family. And then also creating that, like I said, flywheel of referral business is going to really be important. So I would recommend to everybody listening to this today, one thing that you can think about doing in the next, 30 days, for example, is if you are not doing anything right now to ask for a referral, it's a great time to do that
Mhm.
process. Like start that process. It doesn't have to be big. It can be as simple as calling your homeowner and saying, thank you so much for letting us do this work,
It's
So
it's a great point. No, you have to ask. It's
yes.
all about the ask. And I'll tell you a quick story on that. So I was at an event in Florida, and I always look around trying to find unique places to go, get something to eat, whatever. I found a taco truck. They had 1,500 five-star reviews. I'm like, I've never
Oof.
seen that. That's remarkable. I mean, not a 4.5, all 5 star. I'm like, I got to go to this place. So I got some folks and we went out to this taco truck, and yes, it was amazing. They had a whole setup. Food was great, but what they did that made a difference was when we were done eating, they had a little picnic table set out. A woman came from behind the counter and asked, "Hey, how was your meal?" It was great. Do you mind leaving us a review? There's a QR code right on the table on the
Mm,
napkin holder. Can you scan that and leave us a review? They got 15 reviews right there. Everyone
yeah,
in our group left a review, and it was a 5 star review. That's simply they asked. I mean, yes, they provide great product. They did, everything was wonderful. They were super. They were nice. The food was great. I mean, there was just a great experience altogether. But they asked. If they hadn't asked, would they have gotten a review? Maybe one or two, but they got 15 on the spot. That's the power of asking.
yeah, pretty amazing. And, I wanted to also call out like, I think when a homeowner is excited about remodeling their bathroom, that's one thing because, the contractor shakes their hand, walks away, they're in love with their new bathroom. But there are also what are called grudge purchases,
Mm,
A friend of mine calls them out
yeah.
like, you know what, my HVAC unit went out last summer and I had to buy a new one. I wasn't happy
Hmm.
about it. But the people who did it did an amazing job. And, to your point, like they did ask me right after it was done, hey, we know this wasn't easy for you, and we appreciate you choosing us and trusting us to do this work. And they got a 5 star review for me as well, even though it
Yeah.
wasn't something I was particularly, I mean, I was excited to not have it be 90 degrees in my house, but
Yeah. But no, it's important. It's that step. It's like in sales, you don't get the business if you don't ask for it.
yeah.
You have to ask for the business. You have to ask for the review because it's like closing again to make sure you get that because it makes a big difference. So,
Yeah. And if there are owners on this call today, just a metric that I think is really impactful from a pipeline standpoint is 82% of referrals will come through within the first 3 months after the job.
Mm,
wow.
So it's very important that we're taking advantage of that time frame. And then something else that is really interesting is that 70%, 76% of referrals come from friends and family members. So it's really
yeah.
like who's in your close proximity? Are we taking advantage of that? Making sure that we're making the ask to your point, Chris. So it
Yeah.
really does create a nice ecosystem of new business and also a great way to generate leads at a
Well,
lower margin of spend.
and I love, with G4, and I love we create raving fans. I mean, I love that thing because we deal with a lot of companies who are multi-trade. So once you've sold them one item, you should, if you've done a good job, you should be their first call for those other items, but they have to know that you sell them. So if you did their windows, make sure they know that you also do roofing, siding, gutters, 1 day baths, whatever it might be. Make sure they know about it because you've already gained their trust. You've done good work for them. Stay in front of them, take advantage of that raving fan to, get more business out of them as well. So there are a lot of different avenues where you can grow your business, again, out of that database. So, all right, gang. Here we are, 2026. Becky, you said it. We're halfway through quarter one. Unbelievable. So let's take a look. So, what is a growth strategy for 2026? Heather, I'm going to start with you, put you on the spot. What does a connected growth engine look like with lead gen, sales, customer experience? What does that look like from your point of view?
Oh boy. Um, Big question again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start broadly. Broadly, I would say it's mindset, it's discipline, it's consistency, and on top of that, a prescriptive approach to testing out new things.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning it's important to drive your team's attitude with leadership. So, if you don't think something will work or if you sow any doubt, the team will follow suit. And so I think, making sure that whether it's toward leads or whether it's toward systems or whether it's toward maybe you're implementing new training on handling objections or something like that, it's just really important that everybody is on the same page. And a connected growth engine ensures that the folks that behind those systems are really treating every opportunity the same, that they're valuing every interaction with a client. And I think that comes across and helps you scale. And so once you have that in place, you're set up to, of course, test new things, test new marketing channels, maybe, roll out a new trade, maybe new products, maybe you want to expand to new geographies, that sort of thing. And so that's the first thing I would say. Secondly, on a more technical level, since I'm here with my partners, I'll point out that again, creating integrations with your partners in conjunction with a high degree of communication, like we've been talking about, is just key. So tools like Builder Prime should integrate with Modernize and integrate with gFour and with anybody that you're partnering with wherever possible
Mm-hmm.
for all the efficiencies that you're going to get out of that we've been talking about. And plus, again, reporting is huge. Giving feedback to your partners is a game changer. And, as tools improve their ability to deliver on that, that's just going to get better and better. But I think those are the things that give you that consistency from your partners that help you scale. And then, finally, you got to know your numbers. A connected engine knows its numbers and it marches to that beat.
I like that. Marches to that beat.
hmm
That's good.
Chris, I got one for you.
All right, what's up? What's up?
What mindset shift is most important heading into 2026?
Um, I think I'm going to go back on something I had said earlier is, you know, AI is top of mind for everyone. We hear about it everywhere, and people sometimes are asking for AI's sake, and that's a mistake.
Mm,
I've seen numbers, and not this isn't home improvement specific, just in general, where 95% of AI implementations fail because people just think, oh, I need AI. Why? Focus on the why. What problem are you trying to solve? That is something else. I mean, look at your tech stack. Um, is it bloated? I mean, because people sometimes will just go and just add things and just add and add and add, and sometimes, as you said, they're not all connected. Um, Look at the problems that you're trying to solve, and also if you have a problem that you need solved, talk to your existing vendors first. So talk to them, say, hey, do you do this? Rather
mm,
than creating upheaval often I find, because there are people who often CRM is a beast. Changing CRMs, implementing CRM, managing a CRM, it's a lot of work, and we get that. Make sure you establish that relationship with your CRM provider. Work with their CS team. Make sure you have access to that team. I'm really proud of what we do, the access to our team and how willing they are to help. I think it's something that sets Builder Prime apart, and it's why I'm so happy to be a part of this team, because we have that relationship. We are owned and led by our founder, which is awesome,
Mm,
because we really care. But talk to us about what challenges you're facing, because I find often people get frustrated because they just don't know the full extent of the capabilities. Um, and sometimes, yeah, it's something that's just not possible. There is no system that is going to be perfect, but trying to at least talk through it, because I do find in at least half of the cases, it's something that you're just not trained on. So take the time to ask the questions, spend some time with your, whether it be your CRM or your other tools, to really get to understand them and get to know them, build that relationship. That's important. And before you implement, again, AI, it's not AI for AI's sake. Why? Why do you think you need it? Answer that question first. All right, that's my that. All right, I can get off my
beautiful.
soapbox now. Hope I'm going to try not to trip as I jump off it. But um, Becca, I'm going to go to you now. If you could give owners one priority for 2026, just one thing, what would that be?
Ooh, that's hard. Just one thing. I
One
would
thing.
say take advantage of maximizing the opportunities within your CRM.
Hmm.
Do not let that slide, because there is a lot of opportunity in there. And if you just start small by communicating with your customers from the past 3 to 5 years and just, you know, checking in with them. Hey, how are you? Hey, it's been 5 years.
Yeah,
Haven't talked to you in a while, but hey, we're still here and we are happy to do any work that you may need. Just open that door of communication. I think you, as in our owners on this call today, are going to be very surprised in a pleasant way, what you will see come from just that small priority.
I could not agree more. Gold star, Becca.
Gold
All
star.
right. Oh, go ahead, Heather. You have something to add?
Nope, I'm good.
No, no, no. Okay.
What
All
do you
right.
guys
So
think? Should we end with a lightning
yeah,
round?
yeah. I think it is time. It's lightning round time. We need a song for this. We need some kind of some music or something. Dun, dun, dun. How's that? All
Perfect.
right. Anyway, all right, Heather, you're the reporting guru. I did not use the word nerd, um,
Fair.
but but I agree with you. I love reporting as well. I think it's important. But what, out of everything, what is one metric every owner should know cold?
Mm. Again, selfishly speaking, overall performance KPIs should be dialed in, i.e., what do the numbers need to be for me to back out of this campaign and have the ROI that works for my business?
Hmm,
Was that lightningy enough?
that was deep, very deep.
Becca, I had a lightning question for you. What's one system contractors typically underutilize?
Well, Chris, it's your lucky day. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna say the CRM.
Yeah,
Okay. It's the CRM, guys. We gotta be working that CRM. So that is my best and final. And I'll
that was very lightningy.
that was a bit very lightningy. Chris, what's one habit that separates high growth companies?
I think I think it is. Yeah, I think an owner that the ones I've seen that are super successful and have grown the business, build a team they trust and empower. An owner who has to have their hands in everything is not going to scale and grow successfully. They trust, they hire great people, they empower them, and they trust them,
Mm,
and they trust them to be okay making mistakes. It's making mistakes is fine. Is it our friend Brian Gottlieb? I know this. He always says this: you can be wrong, but you can't be wrong for long. But that's okay. But you trust your people to make those decisions. Again, empower them, And that's what I've seen the most successful businesses. That's how I've seen them operate.
A great
Well
way to
said.
conclude our lightning round, Chris.
More lightning.
So
There we go.
I was going to say we have one more poll for those of us who
All
are
right,
still on the
let's
call
go.
with us. So the final poll here, and we would love to hear directly from you again, is what is your biggest challenge? What do you feel is, you know, in your eyes, pushing the boulder up the hill? We want to hear what that is from you. So everybody on the call, feel free to put in your responses. It looks like we do have a couple of questions in the
All right,
chat.
let's go.
Let's see. So we have a question. It says, how often and how soon and at what intervals should our business reach out to homeowners for rehash? Great question. It really depends, actually, I would say, on what your goals are. And an awesome referral partner can help you determine what that is. So I would recommend is setting up time to talk to our teams, specifically
Hmm.
about what your goals are, looking ahead for 2026. That is something that we can absolutely help you refine and systemize for the business.
And one thing I will say is that I know from personal experience working with the folks at well, gFour and with Modernize now. Feel don't when you reach out to us, we're not just going to give you the pitch. We really want to see your business succeed. Talk to we'll put you in touch with other businesses who have been successful, because I always find that peer-to-peer approach is the best way. But we're going to be honest with you again, it does not serve us well at all to lead you down the wrong path. So we're here to help you. Utilize us, take advantage of us. We're here for you, whether you're a customer or not. I don't care. Call me. I'll take your call.
Take
Absolutely.
advantage of us, he
That's right.
says.
All right. This is how I get in trouble, Heather.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Well,
here for it.
on that note, I will say it's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you, everybody today who joined us for our session. Obviously, winning in 2026, we all know it's not about doing more. It's really not about putting fuel to the fire without a system, a process, and a purpose in place. It's really about aligning the right leads, creating those systems, and providing an awesome customer experience that's going to help you guys create that predictable growth that you're looking for. So, without further ado, I just wanted to conclude today and say thank you so much. The three of us have come together to provide some awesome um, live webinar bonuses for everybody that is still here. So if you are interested in learning more about how we can potentially partner with you to help you achieve your goals this year, feel free to scan these codes on the screen and book some time with us. As Chris said, we're here for you. We are
Yeah.
here for you.
And I just have to say a pleasure. You too. I love working with you guys. You're amazing. This is a lot of fun. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
back
for
at you.
putting this together.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Excellent.
Grateful for the opportunity.
All
Yes.
right.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, all.